Okay, we're on. Welcome, everyone. Lovely to see folks here in the Zoom Sangha, and welcome to new folks joining us. And also, welcome to you practicing with us uh, after with the recording on our True North Insight channel. Yeah, so I was mentioning to folks this video setup and lighting and camera and things are different because I'm away uh, pet sitting for a friend for a few weeks. And I'm staying with an old pup who's wheezing here in the background. Uh, and Max is quite old, of uncertain age, 15 or 18, somewhere in there. And is pretty much like per, almost completely blind and almost completely deaf. Uh, yeah, almost totally with both of those. And so the sense door that's normally the strongest sense door in any dog is the smelling sense door. Anyone that's had dogs, you probably have noticed this. And but for Max here, because the eyes and the ears are failing or declining, uh, the smell sense door is extra important, even stronger. And so when we go, and also the bladder is failing, and so when we go for many walks a day, uh, and Max is being walked on a relatively short leash. When I'm at home with my dogs, I'm in a forested area, or we go to parks or dog parks, and they run free most of the time, sometimes on a leash, depending where we are. Yeah. So when Max and I go for walks here, um, it is a practice in mindfulness and mostly a practice in patience, which is what I want to talk about tonight. And because, as I was saying, like the smell sense door is so important and predominant, it seems to me, for Max, that like every tree and every fire hydrant and every pole, every post, anything that any other dog has visited, we will be visiting. And 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 so I've really been noticing this quality, which is a very important quality in the Dharma. It's one of the what are called the paramis, the 10 paramis, or perfections, qualities of um, heartful perfections. And patience is one of these. Uh, and so when I've been noticing this, noticing first of all, as it may be for you as well, we might first notice impatience when it arises, right? We might first notice some agitation or restlessness or wanting things to move along or um, wanting ourselves to change faster, especially wanting others to be or do something in some different way. There's this pushing into a future moment that happens. Um, we might notice this, you might notice it as I have also in caregiving with other humans, also animal companions, but humans that need a lot of or some degree of caregiving. And if someone perhaps with a failing memory that is telling the same things again or doesn't remember things, and this requires a fair amount of patience for us, or is doing things slowly and needing assistance in certain ways. Um, Caregivers often need a lot of patience. So we also, the impatience might show up in something simple like standing in a line or driving in a line, where we're pushing people forward or nudging up to their bodies in the line or their cars when we're driving. Or, yeah, I mean, some people even honk horns or whip around people in impatience, all those things that we've seen. And we can have so much impatience with ourselves and our expectations of how things should be. Some of us were talking about pain earlier, and there can be an impatience. It's hard to be patient with a long-standing health crisis, and um, yeah, impatience can arise there. So with Max, as I was sharing this sweet doggy, um, just noticing this little edge of impatience at times, especially if I felt I needed to be somewhere else at a certain time. It's a fair bit of commuting happening. And that you can feel that sensation in your body, that contraction and that kind of pushing forward into future moments. Or we might be pushing other people or beings as well if it acts out in that way. And so the first thing that's been apparent to me in working with patients and cultivating patience is the mindfulness of just noticing impatience is here. What's it feel like in the body? Where is it? How is it? So that's just the mindfulness of naming what's up for us, which then gives us the opportunity to open to compassion, whether it's compassion for old pups or compassion for ourselves or compassion for other beings. Mm, Sometimes where was that the other day? Oh, yeah, I was driving into Toronto and somebody was whipping through. It's like it was a lot of traffic and they were whipping, like not signaling or anything. It was on a big highway and dodging in and out and really putting other people's lives at risk as well as their own. And my first reaction was a lot of annoyance and aversion. And then I try to say, like, okay, maybe somebody's in the hospital. Maybe someone's in labor in the back seat. Like, I don't know, right? We try to kind of give some compassion. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're just being a jerk, or maybe there's something else going on that I don't know about. Uh, so compassion, yeah, and just like this is a mundane example, really, but not. The compassion with dear old Max whimpering away over there. Oh, honey, can you hear that? It's just laying down. Oh, that was a big one. Yeah, just the compassion, like she can't see, she can't hear. Let her smell. Like just let her smell the things, all the things. And and then when the compassion shows up with ourselves, others, etc., then there's an opportunity for presence, for actually like stopping the pushing into the future moment and presence. Like when the impatience drops or falls away or fades, then there's this, oh, beautiful gardens, wonderful wind, um, wild raspberries, bunnies. There's like all kinds of amazing stuff that wasn't being noticed when I was pushing into future moments. And so it's been so wonderful to slow down. It's, that Max is actually taking me for a walk, right? Totally. And as it happens with these themes, often an email came, I think it was today, might have been yesterday. I think it was today's. on the website grateful.org, O-R-G, you can sign up for daily gratitude reminders, grateful.org. I'll put the link to it down below. And the one that came today said they cited as being an African saying. I'm sure you heard that one. The times are urgent. Let us slow down was the message that came from grateful.org today. The times are urgent. Let us slow down. Oh, so good. The times are so deeply, deeply urgent, as we all know. And and because of that sense of urgency, there can be this contraction and this pushing forward, and our nervous systems activated into reactivity. And and then, this saying that because things are urgent is even more reason to slow down, open to what's here, mindfulness, compassion, and then wise action, wise response, so that we're not in reactivity, hopefully. And does it just happen? When we stop pushing, so you can do it either as an intention to relax the body, or relaxing the body happens when the mind relaxes, when we stop pushing into future moments. Um, and there's this presence and noticing the beauty around us. There's a beautiful story in Sylvia Boorstein's wonderful book. I'll put the link down below. She's awesome teacher. And she has a book called Pay Attention for Goodness Sake. I don't know if it's backwards or forwards in that camera, but I'll put the link. And this is a book about the paramis that I was mentioning, these 10 perfections of the heart. Such a great title, too. Pay attention for goodness sake. For goodness sake. Practicing the perfections of the heart, the Buddhist path of kindness. And in this chapter on perfection, she relates a story from a driving instructor. Yeah, so I'll just share this story. His name is Art. Art story. Art says, I was driving north on Highway 101, just 10 minutes past the Golden Gate Bridge, on my way to Richmond Bridge in San Rafael. I planned to cross the bay and drive on north from there to Antioch. Antioch? I think I'm saying it right. Where I had an important business meeting. Even though it was midday, I found myself suddenly in gridlock traffic. We've all been there. I thought I might miss my appointment in Antioch. I began to feel anxious. I became irritated at the drivers ahead of me, jockeying between the lanes. Then I became irritated at the drivers I saw joining the freeway traffic from entrance ramps without leaving any space for the cars already on the highway to move forward. It was looking less and less likely that I'd be at my appointment on time. I noticed that my body was becoming tense and I was gripping the wheel. Then I looked out the driver's side window and saw Mount Tamalpais, Tamalpais, saw a mountain, and I looked out to my right and saw Richardson Bay. I thought, I'm sitting between two major tourist attractions. People come from all over the world to sit exactly where I am sitting right now in order to have this view. I sat back and appreciated the view. My hands unclenched, my body relaxed, my mind relaxed. Then I had this big revelation. This was my revelation. I'll get to Antioch when I get to Antioch. Maybe today, maybe not today. Maybe I'll be there for the meeting. Maybe I won't be there for the meeting. whatever will be. My getting aggravated is not changing the situation, it is making it worse. Such good Dharma from the driving instructor named Art. Yeah. And we talk about a lot of these notes are full cred to Sylvia Boorstein's chapter here. Um, we talk about patience like something that's like a finite source, a limited resource, right? Like a tank that has patience, and I'm running out of patience. I'm losing my patience. I'm almost out of patience, or I'm out of patience, or I'm at the end of my rope, right? We talk about it like it's this thing and then it's getting low and it's almost gone. Or even if we have that much foresight, we might not. We might already be reacting um, without even knowing we're getting low, quote unquote. And and patience, like many of the heart qualities, maybe all of them, I have to think about that, are not finite quantities that we run out of. Uh, it's more like, I love this example Sylvia gives, like a high efficiency or like an energy saving water heater. There's these small water heaters instead of the big tank that holds a bunch of hot water for you. Is this small thing that when you turn on the hot water tap, it produces hot water. It's on demand. It generates it as needed, not holding on to a bunch of hot water in a big tank that is going to run out. Um, if it's not, regenerating. It's and so the this is like patience. It's available when we turn it on. It's not, and we don't always need to have patience, right? And when we're just like so many other times of the day when things are fine and we're not feeling that agitation and that push and that aggravation, we're we don't need to have patience. But sometimes we need it. And so we have to know how to turn it on, how to turn on that dial, that resource, and to generate that resource. Um, And so how do we turn that on? How does patience develop? How do we um, tap into this resource? Uh, One of them is by mindfulness, just abiding in the present moment by uh, first the mindfulness of noticing if there is impatience. It's like, oh, okay, I need to turn that on. I need to cultivate that. So there's maybe we first notice impatience, and then the embodied mindfulness present moment to notice the contraction, the pushing, maybe we're acting out or speaking out or mm, acting in harmful, unskillful ways. Um, so the mindfulness, the embodiment, the the compassion, either self-compassion or compassion for others, if there's others involved in our impatience, to be like, oh, I don't know what's going on for them, or maybe I do know, and let's recall that and settle back. Um, Also studying the Dharma and understanding the second and third noble truths, that there's a cause for dukkha, a cause for stress, which is clinging. And And when there's a cause for something, if we take away the cause, there can be the ending of that stress, that dukkha. So recognizing all of the Four Noble Truths, but in particular these two, to recognize, oh, this is dukkha. There's agitation, there's pushing, there's pulling, there's clinging, which is same, same. And it's possible for that to end and to, be like Art, the wise driving instructor. Wanted to share this. This is a little excerpt from a collection called the Jataka Tales. These are stories said to be stories from before the Buddha was an enlightened being, before the Buddha was incarnated as Siddhartha Gautama, the who became the awakened one, named the Buddha. Um, so these are stories of Siddhartha Gautama's past lives, where he started to learn these paramis, these perfections of the heart, um, etc. So this is one of the Jataka's tales, a short telling here. The Buddha, in a prior incarnation as a jungle buffalo, was tickled and teased by a mischievous monkey, but remained steadfast in his patience. A forest sprite chided him, urging him to frighten the monkey with his considerable strength. And the buffalo resisted, saying, I'll upset my own heart, he says. And he tells the sprite that a more short-tempered being, one who responded to teasing with anger, might hurt the monkey. He says the monkey might not have a friend. There's the compassion. The monkey, overhearing the buffalo's concern, comes down from his hiding place in the trees, thanks the buffalo for being such a good friend. The monkey and the forest sprite each commit themselves to the magic charm of patience. This, the insight to see it's just upsetting my own heart, body, mind. This agitation, this impatience, this irritation. It's not changing anything except for causing more unskillfulness. Um, and how he opens to the compassion, like, I don't want to upset my own heart. And if I react or tell the monkey off, that might hurt the monkey, and maybe he doesn't have any friends. Good one. Yeah. Patience develops the habit of abiding. Abiding. That's such a nice word, abiding. Oh, it's very lovely. Patience develops the habit of abiding, or turns on that tap of abiding, by understanding this will change, which is the truth of impermanence that we talk about so often, the insight, the liberating insight of impermanence. This will change. And also understanding it cannot be other than how it is right now. In this moment, it is like this. This is also the liberating insight into karma, or kama in Pali, the truth of how things are in the present moment, the conditioned arising of the present moment, which is impermanent. Um, and these insights are supported by cultivating compassion, as we've talked about, and by cultivating shamatha, calm, tranquility, embodied mindfulness, the first foundation of mindfulness. I think that's it. So let's practice that. Yeah. Take a moment to adjust your posture, lay down, adjust your lighting, set aside distractions. So as you're moving into your posture for your practice, can you turn on that tap, bring in this quality of patience to move slowly and adjust and get what supports you need. Lay down if you need. You can practice standing, reclining, sitting, walking. See if you need any stretches or touch or sighing breaths as you settle in. And then if you're in a posture of stillness, letting your eyes find a place of rest, whether they're resting down or closed or resting on an object of peace or beauty or calm in your space. I wish I could send you the sound here of this sweet old dog, Max, snoring in the background here, and because I know it would touch your heart with compassion and even joy. And then light this warm light of awareness that shines down over and across your whole body. Just let awareness start to settle and sweep across the muscles of your face. Seeing if there's any tension there that isn't needed that could soften or let go, or just be held in kind awareness. And let that light of awareness sweep across the shoulders and down the neck, letting the shoulder bones settle down. Letting the jawbone settle down. I find it helpful to take a few slightly deeper breaths to feel the movement of the torso, the chest, the belly, the back, the ribs. And see if that feels like a reminder or a noticing of any holding that has been there that wasn't seen. Softening the inner belly to whatever degree is available. Especially if there's been pain or fear or anger or any activation. Just notice deep inner muscles closer back towards the spine that may be bracing or activating, holding us, getting us ready for whatever we're anticipating unconsciously. See if some warmth, softness, space, caring attention could come to these inner muscles. And as the upper body begins and continues relaxing, softening, arriving, we might then feel more weight, more heaviness, presence through the hips, pelvis, legs, feet. And this earth element is very much for me anyways, a reminder of this patience quality, this groundedness, steadiness, earthiness. So we're beginning here with this sati, this mindfulness, abiding in the present moment in an embodied way. Just meeting ourselves. Hello, sweetheart. Sorry, I've been absent. Thank you for waiting for me. As if a dog has taken you for a walk and then invited you to stand still or sit still, sitting on a bench, perhaps in the sun or the wind or near water. And you realize there's nowhere else to go or to be right now. Just sit, just lay down, whatever posture you're in. And then you could invite in a little bit of contemplation or reflection. Has impatience been up for me lately or recently or today? Impatience with myself, with others, with anything. Understanding it cannot be any other way than it is right now. And this will change. Everything's impermanent. And there's a choice involved to choose not to push this moment aside, to choose not to push into the next moment. Let's just abide together for a few more minutes in silence. And then notice if there's any impatience arising in you in this present moment as we begin again, and begin again. When the habit of mind conditioning sweeps away into planning, remembering, imagining all the wonderful delights of mind, when that's noticed in the field of awareness, we gently begin again with great patience, again and again, with self-compassion, again and again. And if there's been impatience with ourselves or with others, we could cultivate the self-compassion or the karuna compassion for whatever being is in that is up with. So you could use a phrase to help cultivate that heart feeling, or you could just abide with the feeling of care and compassion. May I be gentle with myself through this difficulty, or with others. May you be gentle, patient through this hard time. The times are urgent. Let us slow down, as this saying is cited. Living at the speed of now. This poem is called Patience by Rosemary Watola Tromer. Patience. Again today, the invitation to fall in love with the world, with the gray jay who flits from empty branch to empty branch, with the sharp scent of rabbit brush, with the warm spring wind and the dark buds on the crabapple still tight with future bloom. Some days, though the world offers itself, it's not so easy to fall in love. Days when heartache twists in the chest and turns in us like a screw, leaves us raw and sensitive, until too tender to hear any more bad news, we shudder our hearts, we close our ears. But if we're lucky, an inner voice sends us outside into the day, And though it is gray, the world does what the world does, holds us despite our heartache, holds us the same way it holds the stubby pink cactus, all prickly and clenched, the same way it holds last year's thistles, all brittle and flat and gray, the same way it holds the dank scent of river and the moldering scent of last year's leaves, holds us exactly as we are until we are ready to fall in love again. With patience, allow awareness to follow these three sounds of the bell until the sound of the third bell is completely faded, and then transitioning from this part of the practice at the end of that third sound. So thank you for practicing with us. If you've joined us on the YouTube channel, please check the links below to Sylvia's book, to Rosemary's poem. I think those were the only things. I didn't do any sutta references tonight. Oh, and grateful.org. I'll put that link there. Yeah, wishing you patience, and I hope you have an old dog that can take you for a walk.